This is my second video in a series to show you how we can't trust the mainstream media. Those who are trusted, but who unfortunately don't always tell the whole truth. Even if the video is long, I invite you to stay tuned until the end. You will better understand the type of individual we were dealing with in my first video on this subject, which was about the unfortunate but not entirely factual story of Martin Engelhart, which the CBC had presented to its viewers.
It was amazing. It just like all the people waving flags and everything. And I thought that was a cause, that was bigger than me. And I thought, it was worth the effort to go. I start giving people my business card with my phone number on it, and I start delivering fuel and picking up laundry and delivery for restaurant and everything for the trucker. And I got arrested for bringing people fuel. The van was impounded for 30 days. I asked my bank on February 14th, how much money did I spend from January 27 to the 14th? And the total was a little bit over 13,000.
As you may have seen in the first video of this series, the CBC presented the story of a man named Martin Engelhart who supposedly lost everything after participating in the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, because he had supposedly lost all his life savings after giving gas and fuel donation to the truckers. In that first video, which you can watch on mediafactcheck.ca, I revealed the misinformation that was spread by the CBC regarding Mr. Engelhart claims that he had lost his home because his landlord evicted him due to his opinion regarding the convoy, which is completely false for many reasons.
My landlord, when I got arrested and asked if I could search my property, because they thought like I had weapon, I was an organizer.
Here is what I could debunk concerning the lies about the donation and the money he lost. This is only a part of it, as other people also contributed to help him financially during the convoy, but we cannot know the exact amount he received. Let's start with the claim in the CBC article that Engelhart spent over $13,000 but only received $2,000 in donation. Engelhart also said he wrote to the convoy's organizer several times to be refunded for what he had spent on fuel for the truckers.
I asked my bank on February 14th, how much money did I spend from January 27 to the 14th? And the total was a little bit over 13,000.
He said he included receipt and screenshot of his bank statement. The person in charge of the refund confirmed to me that Engelhart had no receipt, only picture of his account with unverifiable transfer and expense. No receipt to authenticate anything whatsoever. The 302 Coventry Road organization decided to give him back $2,000 afterwards. I also spoke with several other people who had supported Martin Engelhart in different ways over the years, either by Interact transfer in cash or by paying his hotel costs and providing for the other needs he had. Some of them wished to remain anonymous, but provided me with proof of their transfer to Engelhart. In one of his videos, Engelhart admit that he has been a scam artist in the past and that he lied to several people.
And the thing is like everybody's like saying I'm a scam artist. I was a scam artist, and I don't deny it. I don't deny that I lied to a lot of people, but I was lost in my way. And then instead of stealing and ended up in jail, I kind of, made up story, and it's okay.
Here is what a lady wrote to me after her interaction with him. I'm French and I live in Ontario. I would like to give you information about how I was played by Martin. He posted several Facebook videos, which he has now all erased, to say that he was out of money, gas, and sleeping in his car in minus 35 weather, going to Alberta. He said that they would probably end up finding him dead. I felt bad for him, and he had his phone number in his video, so I called him and offered him $1,000 to get a motel on February 22, 2022. He posted several Facebook videos, and people would respond that they would like to help him out and have seen his response, giving them his email address for them to e-transfer him money. I tried to save those videos, but when Martin removed them, they were removed from my computer. I do have personal email from him. He is a good liar. He showed me apartment picture, medication photo for his cancer, ferry ticket, and a picture of the ferry in BC, and an apartment. Because I wanted proof of him taking an apartment with the money I gave him. He actually sent me a photo of another apartment from Alberta. Then I stayed in touch with him. 2 days later, on February 24, 2022, I e-transferred him $2,000 to get an apartment first and last, a cost of $1,500, plus an extra $500 for food and a computer that he requested. He said that he would repay me. I have an email copy of it. His name changed 3 times. He had 3 different emails. His first cell phone number was canceled. Then he got a new number from Quebec. I became suspicious that I had been played. Someone else also met Martin Engelhart through Facebook last summer and ended up meeting him shortly after. Since he wanted to help him out after hearing the story of him dying from cancer and having nothing left in his life, this man traded his new $1,500 laptop against Engelhart computer that was worth only around $300. A similar thing happened to an ex-mayor in Ontario who posted a conversation he had with Engelhart on social media after the latter had stolen $2,500 from him back in 2018. Many people have also helped him with hotel costs and fuel during his way back to BC. Thanks to the pitiful sub-story he keeps telling everyone. Here are some interviews I had with some of the people I was able to reach out to.
And so I decided then, having just met you an hour before, to e-transfer you $1,000 so that you could get a hotel for multiple nights.
He was promised he was going to get reimbursed. From what I know, he didn't spend any of the money that he claimed. He didn't really provide any real tangible receipts. He said they were destroyed or something. So I don't know.
And so, I gave him $150. The other fellow gave me $300 to give to him. So I actually had given him $450. Like, I had it literally in my hands. I would sign an affidavit saying that I physically gave him $450 cash. This is after Ottawa. He showed me he showed me that let me listen to the recording that he had. And he also showed me how his bank account was frozen with that one email. And he also said, though, that a lot of the money that he had was money that was donated to him.
I made a live video asking my followers to help him. And he said at that time, he said he was broke down in Brandon, Manitoba. He said he was on the side of the road, and within 20 minutes, just for my people, he had $1,000, and people were offering to go there, meet him, and he was turning that down. People were offering him places to stay along the way, and he said he was trying to get back to Edmonton. So people had offered him places to stay, which he also turned down. He was only concerned about the money.
Okay.
But I have people who have sent me almost $1,000 within that 20 minutes, and they have e-transfer records and everything. Since then, I didn't really hear much of it until the start of the week last week when he did the CBC. And then since I've been looking into it further, there's just more and more.
And so then he started hanging around the administration tent of Coventry. Somewhere along the way, he had indicated that he was really good on computers. And at the time, we were still trying to get our administration tent kind of organized in order. We were building a list of volunteers. So we offered to build a database for those volunteers for us. And then again, in that short time period, he also offered to build us a website. So he told me he had 50,000 followers on this page and that we were expecting a $10,000 donation the following Monday. So it would have been a Thursday, Friday, possibly Saturday, but I don't believe so that he made this statement. That weekend, we had a meeting with the local law enforcement officers. The liaison officers came into the tent, and I asked everybody to leave the tent. Initially, Martin had left the tent with kind of everybody that wasn't relative to that meeting. And partially way through that meeting, he burst back into the tent, panicked, wanting his laptop that was sitting in the tent. Now, understanding we're sitting in a tent with only one door with law enforcement officers standing at that door, the laptop wasn't a risk. The behavior was very, very, very odd, very peculiar, that he would be so panicked to put his hands on this laptop. One of the staff members in the tent at that time had guided him back towards the door and said, like, look, you're not to be in here right now. We're trying to have a meeting. And at that point, he threw the best I can describe as a man-sized temper tantrum at the door of the tent, both in front of all the staff and the law enforcement there. Basically jumped on the ground, screaming about his laptop and how he wanted his laptop, etc. We finally got him to exit the tent, finished up our meeting with law enforcement there in the tent, and then he re-entered. When he re-entered that tent, he indicated to me that the staff had pushed him out of the tent, which is patently false. I observed the staff during that interaction, the OPP, or not the OPP, the law enforcement were right there, the OPS. So there was no pushing and shoving match at all. It was entirely on his end. So he indicated to me that we had broken his glasses, and he stood literally in front of me and took the lenses of his glasses and snapped them in half as he's telling me this. I explained to ARC that as the case was that no, we indeed did not direct him to spend any money. He did not work for our fuel distribution team at any point in time, and that we received him the same way they received him. I do know for a fact that the ARC Hotel provided him another $1,000 on top of the $2,000 we sent him, a couple at that ARC Hotel, and that is verified from a trusted source. So that total $3,000 plus the receipts that I'm aware that he received within the camps in the time that we interacted. Mm-hmm. He volunteered to go pick up the radios and provided those receipts, and we paid for them and reimbursed those receipts. And I have the receipts for them in my possession. And so we never asked for any kind of money. And we certainly never asked him to leave because of lack of money, because it was never a discussion with him. He said he was broke. He said he had spent $13,000 delivering fuel downtown and that he had nothing left. And that's the story he gave me the first day he walked in. So to try and then claim that he hung around 5 days and then we kicked him out because he didn't have any money, that's very, very illogical and not consistent with the facts. You have, quote, recordings, and you have the laptop that you had in the administration tent in that meeting. And he's like, yes. And the interesting note about that is I was watching somewhere, I came across the information in the last few days, whenever it was, I think it was the most recent video that someone sent me of him. And he claimed to have needed to sell his laptop because he was so broke. And that's exactly why I asked that question. I thought, that's kind of interesting because you said you sold your laptop and now you're saying you have your laptop. And the reason I went there is because it's the same old consistently with Martin. Half truth, partial truths. And in that text stream, and I'm happy to share it, he clearly identifies definitively that yes.
Je me suis dit peut-être que le gars était peut-être vulnérable. J'ai trouvé ça pas mal extrême. Il travaillait sur un ordinateur puis il est en train de créer une liste de noms pour pouvoir organiser les volontaires. Parce qu'il y avait beaucoup de monde qui voulait aider, puis essayer d'organiser tout le monde, c'était quand même une job assez difficile. Ça fait qu'il avait entrepris la tâche. L'idée de mettre ça dans un Google Doc qui était sur la propriété de quelqu'un d'autre était peut-être pas la meilleure affaire pour la sécurité puis l'information privée des volontaires. Je faisais la surveillance du parking lot, du stationnement, où ce que les camions étaient stationnés pendant la nuit, juste pour sûr qu'il n'y avait pas de personnes qui viennent faire de plate. Ça fait que là, c'est là que j'ai découvert un peu plus cette situation avec sa fourgonnette. Il dormait dans sa fourgonnette et puis il faisait pas runner le moteur parce qu'il y avait des problèmes avec. Moi, j'étais sous l'impression que c'était un problème de catalyseur. Et puis, il y avait de la misère avec. Les organisateurs, ils ont fourni un manteau. C'était une donation qui avait venue, là, si je me trompe pas, que j'ai rempli son véhicule d'essence. Et puis, il y a un camionneur qui avait volontairement donné un matelas. Tu sais, c'est vraiment par lui-même, là, à ce point-là. Je veux dire, s'il fait froid, c'était inconfortable, même si tu la pars une fois de temps en temps pour réchauffer les affaires.
We did try to reach Martin Engelhart to give him the opportunity to explain himself and as well to answer to our question. But so far, we didn't have any answer from his part. You heard it yourself and saw a lot of proof that Engelhart has received more than the mere $2,000 he claimed to have received. These are once again more example of the lies propagated by the CBC that I was able to debunk. Stay tuned because the next video will be really interesting. It was Alexa for Rebel News. You saw yourself, mainstream media are propagated a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and we want to show you the truth about that. If you are interested, everything of our report is on mediafactcheck.ca, and on this website you can as well donate generously to permit us to investigate on this story. Thank you.